Hi there once again from me, Mishka. I am Mishka, and it's wonderful to be back with you this week on our series called the I Am series. Well, I hope you could join us last week, and if you didn't and you're only seeing this, I do want to recommend that you go and listen to the first part of it, which is available on our website, mishka.com. Please listen to it because it's a series and the one flows into the other. So let me just pick up where I was last week at the end, and I talked about the time that I remembered and I realized that I was born left-handed. So you see, that was the part of me inside of me that is the way I was and the way I am. That is really who I am. And I was actually forced to write with my right hand. And that decision I had to make, to say, you know what? No, this is not good. I am not right-handed, and I've been writing, my handwriting wasn't good for many, many years, and there's a big impact it makes on our lives. I can't even begin to describe to you what it does to the brain when we're forced to do something that's completely against who we are. And I started writing again with my left hand. So just to bring you up to speed with me today, we are looking at who is that, the I am that is inside of each and every one of us the day that we are born. The beauty that stays with us. And the sad thing is for me to see in the world today how many people are walking around very depressed and feeling unhappy. And then we go to perhaps we can find medical solutions. We think that it might even be, and I'm not talking when it is really a condition of your body, but so often people are depressed, feeling very unhappy, and they don't understand that very, very often it's actually that I am factor, that part of you that wants to come out, that part of you that wants to get into its purpose. But because of what we've been told and because of where we've been put, that just doesn't happen, because we are now in a structure where somebody else decided we should be, or we even decided we should be, because we do not understand. Now, let me give you an example. Let's go a little bit further in life when we grow up. I want to just take myself, as I said last week, oftentimes I'm going to give you examples out of my own life, which do leave me a little bit more vulnerable, but I'm also so grateful today to be able to do it, because I was the one that had to go through and find out what part of me had to go back to the I am that I really am. And that is when I was younger. I found out when I went to study, Now, everybody is doing something, and that was like at a time I grew up in a time where, you had to become a teacher or you had to become something. So you got to go to university and you got to study. That was like part of what happened. And I just thought the pressure on me was immense, and I enjoyed it. And I realized that I did very well, and academically things were easy for me. It wasn't difficult. But a part of me never stood up enough and found out who I was and what I was supposed to do. What was that purpose that was inside of me? So I made the mistake to study and go into a direction which I thought would be ideal, because that is what the recommendation was of a lot of people. The result of that was that I only found out in a much later stage of my life, probably about 15 to 16 years later, that is not what I wanted to do. Now, you need to know that there is a great impact on our life, because what I was predestined to do, that part of me that makes me wake up now in the morning, that makes me happy, that makes me want to go forward, and makes me want to go and achieve, that part of me was suppressed. And I was in an environment where I was not happy. And I'd like to say, don't forget, when I talk about this, you need to see yourself in it. You need to perhaps go and say, where's that part of the I am factor? Because now you're there. And the worst of it is, once we're there, we have this mindset to think, well, I can't really get out of this anymore. That is now where I am, and that is where I'm going to stay. And for years, we might just be going on and on and on and on the same track, because to take a step and to make a decision to say, but that's not really where I'm supposed to be. This is not really what's going to make me really become who I'm supposed to be for other people. You see, when we are comfortable with that part of us, remember, it's still inside of us. It never goes. That perfect part that is in that little baby that I said the last time, that is born, that's the I am, who I am really, never leaves us. You need to understand this. I'm not talking about a I was or a I will be. I'm talking about a I am. And that I am will stay with you and I for the rest of our lives. It doesn't change. It doesn't change. It does not change because my environment is different. It does not change because somebody else said I should do something that's contradictory to that. Please, you need to see this because it's absolutely life-changing. Many times we stay in positions because we think that position that we're in is far more now important. Now, how can I make a change in my life? You may be now in your 30s or even in your 40s. And you think, I've done this for too long. How am I going to get back to that I am factor? I know of people that has already gone even on pension after 50 or 60. And they only then find out what is the sweet spot. You see, when I'm in that I am spot, it is a sweet spot because then you are comfortable. It is like when you're wearing clothes that you shouldn't be wearing or they're too small, you know. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, but I'm sure you do. If you get dressed into something and that thing is just really uncomfortable, but you'll just hang into it. Or we've got shoes that are too small. I mean, really, have you had that? Shoes that are too small. They just don't fit. But because I've got these shoes, and I've been told to wear these shoes, I will wear these shoes. And I will not get another pair of shoes that I like, always fitting comfortably. That is so often what we do with who we are. We're getting dressed, or we've been put into a little box, or into a piece of clothing that's too small. There's not comfortable. You always feel that you don't belong, or you're just not in the right place. You just can't flow. You're doing your best, but you're frustrated every single day of your life because these shoes are too small. They're not the right size. They're not fitting with that little box inside of you, which is the I am that you've been born with. It makes life difficult, and it shouldn't be like that. It shouldn't be like that. So now, I made that decision. Yeah, I was 36 years old when I realized this is not what I want to be. Now, everybody thought, what is wrong with you? How can you? It's irresponsible. It is irresponsible, was what I heard most of the time. How can you decide on that age that you are not where you're supposed to be? Because I realized that everything was just not fitting. It was just not right. I just came into that place which was just not me. And it was such a hard decision to go and decide, right, what am I going to do about this? How am I going to change this? Yes, I've studied, which is fantastic, and I'm so grateful that I've done it. Even until today, I appreciate that degree that I first got. It is something that matured me, and even, man, isn't this wonderful? Even in these years that we're going, and we've made mistakes and we've made decisions, because you see, if you make a decision based on the box that you're in, and not on the I am that's inside of you, this decision is most probably a wrong decision. That is why people end up in the wrong places. Because we do not make a decision based on the truth of who we are. We make decisions based on our circumstances. We make decisions based on what other people want us to be. And that is a situation that we only get out of once we start to realize and say, man, I want to be who I am. I want to be somebody that can actually just shine and go and just be happy. And I know it comes with a lot of difficult decisions. So I had to get out of it myself. I will never forget. I woke up one morning and I went to gym early. It was 5 o'clock and I was listening to music, and I'd like to share this incident with you just to tell you what an impact this had on my life. And up until that point, most things were wrong. I'm sorry to say that, but that was the absolute truth. It was a point in my life where I had to come, where I realized that, you've tried it all. Every time, things just seem to go the other way around, and it just seemed to not work. And I was in this gym, and I had earphones and I was listening to music my son actually put up for me. So jumping away. And there was a song I listened to that came up. I've never listened to it. Naturally, it's his music he actually put up for me. I just wanted some music and he did it for me. So, and it was amazing. The song is actually called, it is a song done by Muse, and it's called Butterflies and Hurricanes. And as I listened to it, this song word says, change everything you are. You've got to be the best. And somehow those words spoke to that inside of me. I can't explain it to you. I cannot describe that to you. But that morning in that gym, I got an understanding that who I was at that moment, who I became, was not who I am. It was somebody else. I was living a life that other people actually wanted me to live. I was trying to keep up with what they wanted. And then I thought, how am I going to do this? Change. Change is one of the most challenging things in life. I realized that I was almost called up, I think it's like somebody that's been called up to service and say, you've got to come now. This is your last chance. And the words of the song actually does say it at one point. It said, this is your last chance. And I remember that. It was like a call to my heart to say, are you going to stay where you are because you're so fearful to get out there and be who you've been created to be? Or are you going to take that step and start to change 100% what's going on? Are you going to reverse it? Are you going to make a decision to say, no more will I allow these things. No more will I go back to the default other people have said to me. But I'm going to become sensitive to that part inside of me, the I am, who I was when I was born. What was I made to do? How am I going to get back into that place? How am I going to get back into becoming the best at that? And it took a lot of hard work. It took a lot of effort. Same thing, I can actually use the same example to you. When I got to this sort of revelation, it was in a gym. And a gym is actually one of those places where we're completely out of our comfort zones. And our muscles are being worked, because they are not just being left to hang. And that is what we so often do when we are in that place that now being created for us. Is it's sort of comfortable. Gravity gets it work and we just go on. That is why gym, for instance, is so difficult, and getting into good habits is far more difficult than to have a bad habit, is because it takes such a tough decision to make a change and to say to yourself, I will not stay in this place any longer. You need to start to see it. You need to start to almost see what has died down because of what my circumstances were like, what was said to me. And it was like I woke up, literally woke up. And I thought, is this me? Is this really who I am? The interesting thing that I can say to you today, and I hope you are listening, and I hope you can actually say the same, because I do believe when you're going to listen deep to that part of you, you're going to get the same thing that happened to me. That was never touched. It was never touched. I knew from the time that I was a young girl and like young, that I'm destined to be successful. I knew it. I knew from being a young girl in my house that I will be a successful businesswoman. How did I know that? I knew it. Instinctively, I knew it. I knew that I was supposed to speak to people and to encourage them. Instinctively, I always knew it. But I became a person that was just doing what everybody else was doing. Because you see what, to do that takes a lot of effort. It's like getting out of our skin, getting out of our comfort zone. It is the same thing when we go to a gym. Our muscles have been created to carry our bodies. It's a beautiful thing. It's beautiful. It is so perfect when we start to understand this. But when we let go and we just let gravity take its course and we can just let it slide, and so much easier just to eat everything that we see, because that's even comfortable. And we eat away all those things, that voice that tells you, man, you are being called for something better. You see, again, I am, that's who I'm supposed to be. You're actually supposed to look really healthy and live healthy. That is that time when we do that and come into that place, that is natural. And a muscle in your body has naturally been created to carry our bodies. A muscle has been created to get us to the next place. Muscles have been created to be beautiful, to make us healthy. But to exercise them means we got to go against gravity. And you see, when we want to get out of that place and back to the I am that I've been born with, we've got to get out of gravity. We've got to get out of that natural pulling. It's just so much easier. I might say something that some people might not like now, but it's like being married, now I've got the husband, why should I look pretty for him? Whatever. That is not anything that a lady should even think. Because it's not for him, it's for who we are. It is effort. Yes. But it is an effort that brings so much joy. It brings you closer to the I am. And I tell you one thing today. There's not one single person walking on this earth that was not naturally born to let go of themselves, to let go of the beauty that they have, to let go of the passion in their hearts. I believe passion should grow. I believe that whatever we do should grow. If I'm in a business, I should not start off passionately. I should grow in passion. I should do it better tomorrow than when I did it yesterday, because that is the natural way of life. Babies don't go backwards, they go forward, they grow, muscles grow. Whatever we do is supposed to increase. And if it doesn't, it means we've lost that something beautiful. And that's all got to do with the I am. Who am I? Who am I? What's that telling you inside of you today? Like I woke up and I realized I'm so far away from what I'm supposed to be. I'm asking you today, what is there inside of you? Because it's there. Believe me, it's the same than what it was when you were born and I was born. What is there that's calling to say, let me out, because I want to do something through you that's going to be amazing. So as we do this, we find out it never happens, like I said before, in a comfort zone, unfortunately. I wish I could tell you that. It takes you to comfort. It brings you into your sweet spot. And a sweet spot is not necessarily a comfort spot. There's a difference. There's a difference. If somebody has to do a dance, like a dancer told me once, she's a ballet dancer, she said, look man, if I want to do this dance, then I've got to have a posture that's uncomfortable. Go and ask people that are successful. Say, for instance, in a sort of a sport, and I'm bringing that back to the bodily function because I link it directly to where we are and what the I am is. To be successful and do a beautiful dance, you've got to take your body out of its comfort zone. It's going to be uncomfortable. But when other people look at it, they think, wow, look at that. I mean, people that's an athlete is just beautiful. They just go for it. But they have to come out of a comfort zone first. And that's exactly what is inside of us as well. It's exactly not just an athlete. It's not just our bodies. It is that person. It is that person that wants to make a success. It is that person that actually has to write that book. It is a person that's got to write that song. It's a person that's got to make these beautiful, beautiful pieces of art. It's that person that's going to do the next creation or an invention in the business place. Not just the same old, It's going to mean coming out of a comfort zone. And I hope on the next part of our journey that we're going to, that you'll join me once again as we're finding out how we're going to get this, and as I share with you more and more of what's happened to me. I'd like to say thank you to you once again for joining me today as we talk about the I Am series, which is available, as I mentioned before, on our website, at mishkia.com. And I'm sure that as we going to walk together more and more, we will find out more and more about who the real I Am is inside of you. Until next time, goodbye.